Hi, everybody. In this quick video, I'm going to show you how you can link and integrate Codio with your LMS, with your learning management system at your school. Now, Codio can integrate with Google Classroom, Canvas, Schoology, which are among the more popular LMSs. All right, but I'm going to specifically demo the Google Classroom integration because that's the easiest and the one that most people use. But in the YouTube video description, you will find a link that allows you to integrate with all of these LMSs. So in addition to Canvas, Google Classroom, and Schoology, it also integrates with Blackboard, Moodle, and D2L. You can also integrate with Microsoft Teams. So there's a lot of different integrations that you can use for Codio. But like I said, for the purpose of what we're doing here, I'm going to demo the Google Classroom integration. Okay. So the first thing you'll notice on the left-hand side of your course, there is a tab called LTI LMS. All right. And when you click on LTI LMS, all right, these are the features up here that you'll have to activate in order to link with Schoology, Canvas, and the other LMSs. But Google has made it very convenient. Codio and Google Classroom will integrate simply by clicking on this button. But before you click on that button, you need to make sure that in your Google Classroom, you already have your blank Google Classroom course set up. And you're even going to want to have your students already in the course. All right, so here you'll see the course is completely blank. I have not done the integration yet. There is no assignments in the Google Classroom. All right, so what I'll do is I will now demo how to do this. So you're simply going to click on the Connect to Google Classroom button. And when you do that, it'll ask you to choose your Google account. And then you will have to check off all the ways that Google and Codio can share data. You will hit the Continue button, and then it'll pull up all of your Google Classroom classes. Now, it is important, though, to make sure that you specifically name the class that you want to link. So, for example, if you're teaching 4 sections of APCSP and you name each one APCSP and just give it a different section, like 1, 3, 5, and 7, it's going to be hard here. It's only going to show you the class name. So you're going to have to make sure that in that class name, you put the different period numbers. But I'm just linking one class. It's right over here, 2025 APCSP. So I'm going to hit Connect Class. And you'll start to see it's doing the integration. Okay. So you don't have to stay on this page. You can go back to course. And you'll notice now when I go back to my course, instead of having a black Connect to Google Classroom button, there is now a red Remove Google Classroom button. And this has been now updated to Update Google Classroom Connection. All right. So what does Update Google Classroom Connection mean? Okay. If an assignment or a module is updated in Codio, then you're going to want to click on Update Google Classroom button in Codio, so it pushes any changes to that assignment to your Google Classroom. Now, you're not going to need to do this on a regular basis because we don't update our assignments in that way during the year. All right, but maybe every once in a while you just want to click on it to just make sure that you have the most current version of our course in Codio. Okay, so that is how you integrate Google Classroom with Codio. Now let's see what's going on in Google Classroom. Okay, you'll notice now if I refresh my Google Classroom, the assignments have started to populate here. All right, if I click on classwork, you'll notice that I have sort of my units, okay? And I have everything here, but it's not filling up sequentially, which is kind of a bummer. Okay, I did add one student to this course so that we can see what your students are going to see right after this. Okay, and now if I click on grades, you'll notice that, yeah, the good thing is that it does show my students and every single assignment in the course. So it will push the grades from Codio to Google Classroom. Okay, but now let's talk about the pros and cons of this integration real quick. Okay, There are a bunch of cons, okay? Some of the negative things is that it's a one-time dump of every single assignment in Codio into Google Classroom. So what does that mean? It means your students are going to get 150 emails from you saying that you put 150 assignments into Google Classroom. They're probably going to freak out. So you're going to want to warn them that when you do this integration that they're going to get a lot of emails, okay? It's not going to go in sequentially. That's another bummer. Okay, you can see right here, the units aren't in order, and even the assignments within the units aren't in order. So you're going to have to do a lot of cleaning up, right? You're going to have to do a lot of housekeeping. You have to reorganize everything. So it's not a game breaker, all right, but it is going to make things a little more difficult than it should have to be. Okay, what are the pros? Well, the pros are right here. You're going to have all your students in your course appear in Codio and in Google Classroom, and it's going to push all those grades. And since Codio will round all the grades up to 100, it'll push those grades out of 100 to your Google Classroom or your learning management system that you choose to use. All right. So those are the pros and cons for the teacher on, do you want to do this integration? Because here's the other thing you need to know. When you click on the assignment, okay, all the assignment does is puts a link to send the student back to Codio. Okay, so, I always say this to my teachers in my workshops that if you use Google Classroom, but then the grades have to be entered into another grading system like Power School, okay? Well, maybe you don't want to do this because all it's doing is just putting a link that takes the students right back to Codio. So it might just be easier to put the kids in Codio and just let them stay in Codio. All right. So I wanted to show you what it looks like from the teacher side. Now, quickly, let me just show you what your students will see in their LMSs after the integration. All right, so I'm going to come over to my test student over here, Mr. Daryl Strawberry. And when I go to Daryl's Google Classroom, you'll notice that the assignments have appeared here for Daryl. All right, if you click on classwork, they're starting to come up. So you could see it from the teacher side, you got a lot of work to do, right? You don't want Daryl to be able to see all this. You probably just want him to see unit 1. You want them to see this in order. Okay, and then people, all right, it does show you as the teacher. Now, here's how the integration works. The first time Daryl clicks on an assignment in Codio, it's going to ask Daryl to join Codio. All right. And that's what Daryl's going to do. Daryl is going to choose his Gmail account or enter his Gmail in. It's got to be the same email that Daryl used to join your Google Classroom. And when Daryl does that, okay, you'll notice that Daryl does the same thing you did. He'll be asked to continue. He'll be able to check away his data security concerns as well. All right, and then when it opens up, you'll see Daryl has access to your course. This is what the students are going to be able to see in Codio. All right, and now if I quickly flip back to the teacher view and I go to my grade book, well, it knows that Daryl has actually started the assignment that he just clicked on. As you can see, it says draft right there. So now I know that both platforms have been integrated together. So this is how you would integrate Codio and link it with an LMS, more specifically Google Classroom. If you're going to use Schoology Canvas or one of the other LMSs, there's a link in the YouTube video that'll provide you with instructions on how to do that. If you run into any issues in the integration process, please simply shoot an email to help@codio.com and they will help you. Thanks, everybody. Good luck.